At the beginning of the movie, we see a woman driving through a forest while it's raining, and she has a daughter with her. The daughter is wearing a Joker mask and is upset with her mother because she didn't take her to the circus. To cheer up her daughter, the woman tries to make her laugh with some jokes. Suddenly, a cat falls onto their car, and the car stalls and won't start. The woman steps out to check the car and then notices a small child's body hanging from a tree. Then the woman, terrified, rushes back to her car and sees that her daughter is no longer inside. Remember this scene, as this is where the twist in the story begins. The next scene shifts to the family in the car, who were on their way to their village home. This man was taking his family to the village to arrange his daughter's marriage, and his name is Vishwanath Gampir. This is his daughter, Panna, and this is his son, Mana. The other man is Janardhan Kiampir, who is the head of the village and the cousin of Vishwanath Gampir. Vishwanath Gampir tells his elder cousin brother that he wants to marry off his daughter in the village, and the groom lives in the city. He also suggests holding the wedding at Kamarata House, which is one of their old houses where no one lives anymore, and they want to stay there until the wedding. Hearing this, Janardhan becomes angry because everyone believes that a demon resides in that house. Vishwanath then tells his cousin Janardhan, our fathers live together in that house. If I marry off my daughter there, it will feel as if they are with us. After hearing this, Janardhan cannot refuse and leave. The next scene shifts to a woman who is Janardhan's wife. She receives a letter. After reading it, she rushes to Janardhan. The letter was actually from their son Sanju, who wrote to say he was coming home. When Sanju was young, he was caught stealing gold from the Budnath temple, and Janardhan, in anger, beat him and threw him out of the house. Since then, Sanju has never returned home. The next scene shifts to this boy, Sanju, and the man with him is Janardhan's driver, Fakru. Sanju introduces himself to Fakru, revealing that he is Sanju. Then we see a man on a bicycle who collides with a car. This man is the headmaster of the village school named Lawrence Peter. Sanju gets introduced to him. Fakru then takes Sanju to their house, but no one is home as they have all gone somewhere else. Since no one is at home, Sanju decides to explore and wants to go to Kamaratu House. Fakru warns him against it. Fakru warns him that there's a demon there, but Sanju doesn't believe in such things and goes there anyway. When Sanju arrives, he sees Panna, whose family has come for her wedding. Sanju asks Panna what she is doing there so late at night. Panna replies, I heard there's a demon here, so I came to see if it's true. Then Panna signals to Sanju and says, no one comes here, so who lit the torch? They both look inside the well. See a headless police officer's body hanging there. The next scene shifts to the next morning, where Janardhan is scolding his brother for letting his daughter go to Kamara to house at night. He then tells Sanju that he should not enter the house. Hearing this, Sanju's mother cries and says that his anger hasn't subsided yet, so he doesn't want to let Sanju inside the house. Sanju then calls out to his mother from the window, says, Mom, I can't come inside, but I can still see you from outside. The next scene introduces the main character of the movie, and he is a police officer who has been transferred to the village where the headless police officer's body was found. And his name is Vikrant Rona, and this girl is his daughter. While driving, his car's tire suddenly gets punctured and carries his daughter on his shoulder and starts walking. From a distance, he sees someone dancing around a fire in the forest, but when he looks away, the dancing person disappears. The next scene shifts to the following morning, where a constable comes to check on Vikrant. Vikrant tells the constable, my car tire is punctured. Bring my luggage from the car in the forest. Then it is shown that Panna and others are playing cricket. Panna's brother Mana hits the ball high, and while trying to catch it, Panna falls onto Sanju. This is where a chemistry develops between Panna and Sanju. The next scene shifts to the police station, where Vikrant Rona asks his constable where the old inspector's body was found. The constable replies that the body was found at Kamarata House. The constable also mentions that Janardhan does not allow anyone to go there because there is a demon. Hearing this, Vikrant goes to meet Janardhan and tells him that he wants to go to Kamarata House. Janardhan gets angry upon hearing this, but Vikrant, ignoring everyone, goes to Kamarata House. Then Vikrant stands by the well where the police officer's body was found, and Sanju and Fakru arrive there. Vikrant hands a rope to Sanju and jumps into the well. Inside, he sees many venomous snakes and finds the old inspector's wallet. He discovers a photo of the old police officer and some writing on a currency note. Vikrant then goes to the forest where his car's tire was punctured and realizes that the tire was punctured by gunfire. Being very clever, Vikrant realizes that the shots were fired at him from above the tree. He sees that there is a fire burning again on top of the tree from where smoke is rising. Following the smoke from the fire, he jumps from the tree and rides his bike in that direction. Upon reaching the location, he is attacked by some people, and he has a brief fight with them. Unable to attackers flee. Vikrant chases them but cannot find them again. In the end, he notices a small girl's body hanging from a branch of the tree. When the girl's body is taken down from the tree, it is discovered that her face had something drawn on it. Vikrant then goes to meet the headmaster of the village school because the girl was a student there. Many other girls had been kidnapped while studying at this school before. Vikrant questions the headmaster extensively, but the headmaster denies knowing anything about it. Vikrant then goes back to the police station and asks his constable how many kidnappings like this have happened before. Constable says that there have been 16 such kidnappings and all the kidnapped children were killed afterward with similar drawings on their faces. Vikrant shows the constable if the drawings are the same, and the constable confirms, yes sir, they are the same. The next scene shifts to Kamarata house, where Pana and Pana's family have started staying. In the middle of the night, Pana hears a crying sound. She follows the sound and eventually finds an elderly woman who points to a box with her finger. When Pana opens the box, she discovers a severed head inside, and this severed head is that of an old police officer. After this incident, Janardhan tells his brother that there is no need to stay at Kamarata house. The house is cursed. I had said so before. Then everyone leaves and Vikrant decides to stay in the house until the case is solved. The next scene shifts to Pana, who asks a local villager about the elderly woman. The villager replies she is Naitya's mother. 28 years ago, the entire family of Naitya was found dead in the well at Kamarata house, and since then the elderly woman has gone mad. The next scene then moves to Kamarata house, where Vikrant has started staying with his daughter. The next scene shifts to the police station, where Vikrant asks his constable, who owns the place where the children's bodies were found. The constable replies that place belongs to Musa Khan. He does smuggling there, and Vikrant goes to meet Musa. When he asks Musa about the former inspector, Musa pretends and says he was a good man, but someone killed him. Vikrant then slaps Musa and says, "Don't act in front of me." Musa responds, "What's the point of being a government dog for some money? If you need money, just ask me." Vikrant replies, "I became a dog so that I can piss on electric poles like you." Saying this, Vikrant leaves. Then the scene shifts to a village event where Vikrant, Pana, Mona, and Sanju are having fun together. Later that night, when Pana and Mona were walking home alone, they were a bit scared. Suddenly, they see the constable in the jungle and try to call him, but then they spot a strange-looking man lighting a fire and dancing in the jungle. Frightened, they run back home. The next day at the police station, Mona and Pana go to tell Vikrant about the man in the jungle, but when they see the constable, they remain silent, realizing that the constable was the one they saw in the jungle at night. Later that night, Pana and Sanju go to Vikrant's house, Kamara 2 house, where they find Vikrant dressed like the man from the jungle and dancing. After witnessing all this, the next day, Pana and Sanju go to an elderly villager to learn about Natyani's family. The old man tells them, 28 years ago, Natyani lived in our village with his family. He had 2 sons and a small daughter along with his wife and mother. Natyani's job was to take care of the village's Bhandari temple. Suddenly, a new headmaster arrived in our village, visited Natyani's house and advised him to send his sons to school. Since then, Natyani's sons started going to school, but the boys from the upper caste would constantly disturb them. They passed like this, but one day Janardhan's son Sanju stole jewelry from Bhandari temple, and everyone blamed Natyani. The villagers then came and beat up Natyani and set his house on fire. Natyani's 2 sons fled with their little sister, but the upper caste boys caught them. They began to chant thief, thief, and one of them tried to burn their little sister with a biddy. Then the elder brother Madhav punched the boy and told his younger brother to run away with their sister. Later they caught Madhav and pulled out his teeth, and also caught his younger brother Raghav. Meanwhile, their little sister fell into a well and died. After that, Natyani's entire family committed suicide and left a note saying that those responsible for our death, their family will be eradicated. The next scene shifts to Musa Khan's hideout, where Musa was conducting his smuggling operations while Vikrant watched from a distance. A fierce fight breaks out between Vikrant and Musa's men. When Musa tries to escape, Vikrant catches him. Musa tells Vikrant, "I do illegal business, but I didn't kill any children. It was all the demons doing." Vikrant marks Musa's face with the same drawings, covers his face with a cloth, and leaves. In the morning, Musa is found dead. Then Vikrant goes to the school teacher because all of Musa's illegal items were found in the warehouse behind the school. The teacher then says, "This school land belongs to Janardhan Gambhir. I don't know anything else about it." In the next scene, Fakhru and Pana come and see that Sanju's clothes and bag are scattered scattered around. Then Vikrant starts beating Sanju. Panna hits Vikrant from behind with a stick and says, "We saw you dressed as the demon that day. Why are you hitting Sanju?" Vikrant then says, "He's not Sanju because I found Sanju's death certificate in his bag." The boy then confesses that Sanju was his roommate. Sanju was very happy that he would see his mother, but he died the day before. "So I disguised myself as Sanju so that Sanju's mother could see him." Janardhan Gambhir overhears this from a distance. Then Janardhan Gambhir slaps Sanju a couple of times and embraces him, saying, "You are my son Sanju," and takes Sanju home, making Sanju's mother very happy. That night, Vikrant is suddenly attacked, and while trying to escape, he catches a glimpse of the attacker from behind. The next morning, Vikrant, along with the teacher, goes to Janardhan Gambhir's house and tells him that Janardhan Gambhir's brother, Eknath Gambhir, killed Musa. He killed Musa to ensure that no one would ever find out about his involvement. In fact, when Vikrant found the old inspector's wallet in the well, he discovered a note inside with Musa's car number and a rhyme that Vikrant uses to prove that Eknath is involved in dishonest activities. Hearing all this, Janardhan becomes serious and suddenly falls ill. He tells his brother that all of this has happened because of Naityani's curse, as both of us are responsible for the suicide of her family. When the first theft occurred in the temple, without thinking, we both blame Naityani. Then Vikrant takes Eknath to the police station and finds a clue in the investigation of the deaths of those 16 children. Based on this, Vikrant checks the file of Naityani's family's death, where he discovers that only 4 bodies were found from Naityani's family, and 1 body was missing, the body of Naityani's eldest son, Madhav. This means Madhav is the one who committed all the murders. In the next scene, we see Panna, where Mona is telling Panna, the person whose family wronged Naityani's family is killing all the children from those families, so it must be our turn next. They were saying this. Suddenly that old woman approaches them, and they are kidnapped. Then Vikrant goes to the house of the headmaster, Lawrence Peter, to get the number of the headmaster who was at the school 28 years ago. Lawrence Peter says he'll go inside to get the number. While waiting, Vikrant notices a print on the wall, which was the same print that was found on the faces of the dead children. Vikrant sees another fake denture, which leads him to understand that Lawrence Petroy is Madhav. Vikrant goes inside Madhav's house and finds that Madhav has fled. He discovers a secret passage beneath Madhav's house that leads straight to the Bhutnath temple. Vikrant takes his daughter with him and sets off towards the Bhutnath temple with Fakru. Upon reaching the temple, he opens the temple door and goes inside to see some cupboards. Each cupboard contains various items, and below each cupboard is a name. This is where the movie takes a twist. The movie then flashes forward, showing that Vikrant is married and has a young daughter. As the daughter grows up, one day Vikrant's wife and daughter were going to Kamaraju for a relative's wedding. Suddenly, Vikrant receives news that his wife is in the hospital and has gone into a coma. Vikrant gradually approaches the cupboards, and his daughter tells him not to go further. When Vikrant goes further, he sees a Joker's face in one of the cupboards with the name Gitanjali Rona written below it, which is actually his daughter's name. The cupboards and their contents are items of the 16 dead children. So at the beginning of the movie, the masked child you saw in the car is Vikrant's daughter and wife, and Madhav has also killed Vikrant's daughter. Throughout the movie, the daughter shown with Vikrant was only a figment of his imagination. Madhav killed only the children of those responsible for his family's death. So why did Madhav kill Vikrant's daughter? In reality, Vikrant was Madhav's classmate, and Vikrant's ancestral home was also in Kamaratu. Vikrant had never disturbed Madhav, but he also never protected him. Then Vikrant goes inside the temple, where he sees Madhav in his monstrous form. Here, another twist in the movie is revealed. It turns out that Sanju is actually Madhav's younger brother, Raghav. On that night, Rav had killed Sanju by crushing him with a rock, so no one realized it. Everyone thought that Sanju's body actually belonged to Raghav. And then there is a fight between Vikrant, Raghav, and Madhav, and finally Vikrant kills Raghav and Madhav. This is where the movie ends.